The Cummins head gasket is done. It got a little warm when I towed the Corvette. Now it is very unhappy. Yeah, she's done. Oh, come on. So as you can see, it wants to die if you're not on throttle. I put a rock on it, it wasn't big enough. Head gasket will be here in 3 days and we'll get going on that. Welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we're doing a head gasket on this pile of Dodge Ram. For those of you that don't know, this is my 12-valve rollback tow truck. Getting this has been awesome and so useful. Before, I was towing on that, powered by my super reliable Toyota Tundra. And honestly, this setup is great for when you have a running car. When the car doesn't run, this is the setup you want. Since I bought this truck, it's always had a weird amount of smoke and idle at cold startup, and it gets better with warmth. I've always suspected it was the head gasket. By the end of this video, we'll know whether that's right or not. Since I'm back to towing in the old setup, I had to put the lift on the back of this one. Let's go ahead and pull this thing up, assuming it will start, and start seeing how hard a head is to pull off one of these. I'm under the impression I don't have to mess with any timing components, simply unbolt the head. So without further ado, let's see if this thing starts. Now, normally this thing fires right up, like instantly. So she's very, very unhappy right now. And turns right off. So that is where we will work on it. Now, if you guys have ever seen a Cummins head, they're not light. I'm not looking forward to that. That's actually the whole reason I've been pushing this whole project till the skid was up and running. I was gonna skid the head off and on. I might end up using the cherry picker because of the control of the skid. I'm pretty bad at running it, and I always go up when I mean to go down and down when I mean to go up. Anywho, look at this beautiful piece of Chinesium we got. This was only 125 bucks on eBay. And in the box, I found this. So it was an Amazon return that someone sold on eBay. And I looked this up. It was a $175 radiator that I got for $125. Sweet! I think the worst part is gonna be the turbocharger. My plan is to just drop it off and leave it. I've heard that these like to break. If I was smart, for the 2 weeks this truck has been setting, I would have sprayed it with WD-40 or PP Blaster once a day. But if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm not exactly smart. So I didn't do any of that. And I think the bumper needs to come off. But I was thinking of additionally pulling the fenders and the core support, AC condenser, everything, just stripping this down to a frame. And honestly, I kind of want to do that just so I'm not so daunted. And at that point, it will give me great access to do a front main seal, which this thing's been pouring diesel since I got it. Most of it is coming from the front main seal. Then I could pull the intercooler. I don't know what I'm doing. Stand by. Hopefully that explains why I'm going to use the cherry picker on the head and not the skid steer. I don't want to throw the head on the ground. I decided not to rip any more of the front end off. So next up, I'm going to pull the turbo, then this elbow ram arm thingy. I believe this thing comes right off. gasket ain't gonna cut it today. Got the WD-40 out. I don't know how to get the lower bolts, so we'll just let them break. You want chicken tendies? I want chicken tendies.
I had to make hard, I'm sorry.
No worries. There it goes. I thought you said you wanted chicken tenders. Good boy. The heater lines are bolted down to the exhaust. I'll unbolt those, pull them to the side, get this intake out of here, completely ignore the turbo drain and the oil feed and just pray that they don't break. Hit all the bolts, wrap a ratchet strap around it, ratchet strap it to this, and see what happens. Worst case scenario, I have a broken tow truck, which I already have a broken tow truck. Oh, this is gonna break for sure. Oh, didn't break. Well, this is the wastegate line. One down. Oh. Oof. These bolts are proving to be very tight. I'm leaving this top one for the last one, so I'm gonna do the rest of the lowers, and I'll probably loosen this one and leave that as well. And not to worry about this stuff, this is just water. This thing's been using coolant since I bought it, so I've just been adding water for 13,000 miles. Your local professional. Gonna get it over with. Oh, what? How is that so loose? What's up, baby girl? Oh. Oh, yeah, she's moving. Okay. Oh, that one broke. It did exactly what I wanted. That's without me pulling it at all. Let's see what happens if I pull on it. Oh yeah, that's mint. Solid inch now. I mean 3. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the radiator along with the shroud. We do not want any bolts in the intercooler. Clutch fan tools are super nice to have, even if you don't have the impact. I do have the impact, but I don't often feel like running the hose. So you can use the good old manual hammer. Hey, Cummins clutch fan, reverse threaded or normal threaded?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I'll hit it harder. It is indeed reverse threaded, so I had to go clockwise, and I also had to put a ratchet strap on the pulley. It just kept spinning, so I went around it and went down and just did some ghetto stuff. But hey, she's off. Come on, radiator. Get a little rain now. Oh. Woo. Yeah, it's hitting right now. Oh, nice, nice. That was a 2-minute rainstorm. That's how you know I'm New Mexican. Only lasts 2 minutes. Now with the radiator out, I feel way better about the room and clipping stuff. I need to go ahead and pull this bracket right here, get that disconnected, get some of this wiring disconnected. Luckily, my crank position sensor is not plugged in. My buddy at a shop tried to adjust my sensor. He saw the wear marks and freaked out, saying when it rubbed through the sensor, it wouldn't run anymore and it would leave me stranded. I told him 12 valves don't need that shit. They run off nothing. He didn't believe me, so we disconnected it, and that was 10,000 miles ago. It's been running with no CPS connected. 12 valves are the GOAT. The CPS only controls your tack, and this one hasn't worked since I got it, probably because it rubbed through. But anyway, that's one of the reasons I really like the 12 valve. You don't need nothing for this thing to run. I can literally start this engine, unhook my battery, throw it in the ocean, and keep driving. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the alternator now, and then I'll tackle the injection lines. I know I've been saying they're next, but I really just want to get everything up front cleared, because look at this. This is connected to the head. That was. So now there's nothing minus, like, look at that. The P-pump, you don't have to touch it. Just injector lines, take the valve covers off, and we should be good to unbolt the head. I don't know if it matters which goes where. Hopefully not. This is the wrong size. Still worked. There's a bunch of electrical connectors and stuff up here that I don't know what any of them do. I don't feel like boring you guys with that, so check this out. I'm gonna include the injection lines in this montage, or lack of. I capped the injection pump ends. I don't want stuff getting in there. I also went ahead and disconnected the fuel filter mount from the head, as well as the injection return line. At this point, I'm ready to pull the valve covers and unbolt the head. I don't like how high this is comparatively to everything else, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. So much better. Barely have to lift the head to get it out from over here. Probably don't want this shit going in the motor, so go in the trash can. Much better. Oh. Got all of them. Now I should check the valve adjustment. But I would have to rotate the engine, and stupid me forgot to buy a tool to rotate the engine. So we're just not gonna do that. I want to keep the rockers also in the same spot for distance reasons, so I gotta go sort out how I'm gonna organize all this stuff real quick. I've gotten most of the push rods out. I only have the back 4 and they run into the firewall. There are access holes through the cowl to pull the push rods. The downside is the wipers have my bolts on them and I don't want to move any of them. Just climb up on this girl, see how she's doing. Damn girl, you lose some weight? Looking thinner. There's one of the holes right there. Ah. Where's the other? Oh, yeah, there's that. This is the dumbest thing. Like, what is the, what? All right. Oh, God. Second gen mod bullshit. There go all my bolts anyway. Hey, look. I get my push rod out. Now, where do these two go? There's that. Sometimes I get a little upset. Sometimes my brain fails me and I forget that my 12 valve Cummins doesn't have 16 valves. The fuck is this little? Did I tell you guys I know who snitched me out to the county? What happens to snitches? It's somehow escaping me. Comment below. But keep it like so I'm not in jail. That's how I organize the rockers. Let's get this big ass head off. I used to be like the main guy on teardown at the machine shop, and I'm gonna tell you guys, I see people all the time untorquing head bolts by hand. He's on the wrong setting. I see no point in doing that unless they're torque to yield and long, because they're stretch bolts, and they just don't like untorquing like normal bolts. These are normal bolts. You can impact them. They're gonna come out and not break. That hook's in my way. Hey Joey, can you ask the Mac guy where my stupid light is? Because I hate that thing. Thanks, Joey. That was... Woo! Yikes! Can you just bend the fuel return line? Is that the move? Oh yeah, it's definitely the move. You always want to pull the bolts because they'll catch a thread and stop you from pulling it out. Shouldn't matter where any of these go. Oh yeah, we got a head loose. Whenever I show up at my friend's shops and they're like, why do you have such a big pry bar?
Why does everyone want the crowbar?
Because it's a fucking crowbar.
Oh. I actually could just slide a new head gasket in. Ugh. Nah, let's pull this thing out and see what it looks like. Oh, should probably disconnect that. Oh, should probably stop bending that. Oh yeah, I'm a professional. well, the head's off, and a quick glance over says the block looks pretty good. And then a little closer inspection tells me, yeah, number one's not so freaking hot, my boy. That thing's had more friction than a hooker with no lube. We're gonna pretend we didn't see that. And then I'm gonna buy another motor. So let's slap a head gasket on this and see if it runs. Let's see what the head looks like. Number one is definitely where our issue is. Look at all that carbon, and the rest clean. Let's take the head gasket inside and inspect it. Does this look like a bad head gasket? Not particularly, maybe. They all kind of look the same between there and there. So I think the motor's just fucked. Damn. I would like to have another motor right now because the truck's apart to where it wouldn't be that much harder to pull the engine. What do? Let's put the head on and see if it runs. What's the worst that could happen? Abort mission. I'm canceling head gasket. We're not proceeding. I can't afford to have this thing blowing up all the time. I bought this truck thinking it was good to go. A few days after buying it, I realized something's hurt. Even with the motor being hurt, I put 15,000 miles on it. It's at 273, and I believe there was 258 on it when I got it. So she's a trooper. I knew something was bad. I think that piston got roasted a little bit before I bought it, and that's why the dude sold it cheap. And that's why he warmed it up before I got there, because it was real bad on startup. That being said, it could have just been an injector too, and I don't know enough about diesels, so I leaned out cylinder one till it melted the piston. I'm not too sure. I found a 24 valve block, and I'm 99% sure I can use just the block and swap this head and P-pump and timing covers over. But if the issue is the injector or the delivery valve in the P-pump, it's just gonna roast another block. And it might get me by long enough to upgrade all that stuff. I can't have a truck exploding. So for those reasons, that motor's coming out. All this stuff is going, I don't know where, the junkyard maybe. And I'm gonna throw this AC condenser away. I don't think air is having the best time flowing through that. And this truck is getting a new to it. Definitely a used on poor 12 valve. So yeah, that is what I have decided, and that is, I guess, what I will spend the next few days doing. I had other stuff planned, but this is why I cannot plan anything. Quick head gasket, right. So I'm off to find a new motor. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you guys next time.